Good morning. My name is Cheryl Woodard, and I'm one of the meditation teachers here at Ecumenical Buddhist Society of Little Rock. I am coming to you today from our bookstore because there are people meditating in our main shrine room. And I do these Facebook Live videos for people who can't make it down here or are just interested in a quick introduction to Buddhism and Buddhist meditation. Today I want to talk about human sponges and influencers. And I start by acknowledging that there's a lot of scary stuff going on right now. The government is shut down technically, so plans are disrupted for lots of people. And we see on the news protesters and all kinds of other things, political stuff happening, and some people are very stirred up. And I think that the Buddha's teachings on our inherent human goodness is very timely in this kind of situation. Buddha said that all human beings are born with two capacities or skills. These are native to every single human being everywhere in the world. And the first one is compassion or love, which is our basic urge to connect with one another. And awareness or wisdom is the second one, which is the power to see and to learn. For example, if we think about a baby learning language, her heart drives her towards connecting with the people around her. And her awareness and native intelligence allows her to absorb their language, to connect with them through speech. And if you think about it, that learning a language like that, learning to speak, learning to communicate is an amazing accomplishment. And every single human being everywhere on earth has accomplished it or accomplishes it every day. And when we grow up, we are still like sponges, constantly driven by love and awareness to absorb from the people around us who are also absorbing from us. So Buddha said that these two forces, love and wisdom, drive us, power our lives, and he taught meditation as a practical method to become familiar with how they function. When we meditate, we create a peaceful space for connecting with our own love and wisdom. We settle into that space, open our awareness, and become more familiar with our internal life. And it's important that love, compassion, softness, tenderness, gentleness always infuses the meditation experience. It's never a process of forcing yourself or, driving yourself in any kind of way. It's always a process of relaxing. Because the love and wisdom that we're talking about already exists in us. We're not creating anything new, just noticing what's already there and tuning into it. So these forces are natural to being alive, just like breathing or digesting food or growing your hair. You just do those things. You don't have to think about, breathing. And meditation is just slowing down and creating a small window so that we can be more aware and observe the activity of our mind. Of course, in difficult times like these, we should try to meditate more often because it will help us stay balanced. And we can also resolve to be thoughtful about the whole reality of being sponges and influencers. We can pay attention to what we are absorbing from others, including the media, and what they might be absorbing from us. In essence, this is what is meant by living mindfully. Mindful of what we are taking in and sending out, and how our actions are influencing other people. Lots of people are scrambling for our attention these days, not just activists and politicians. People want us to buy what they're selling, to engage in whatever battles they're fighting, or just feel what they are feeling. My Buddhist teachers are reminding us, all my Buddhist teachers are reminding us to be thoughtful and mindful about this influencer world, not to absorb hate and selfishness, not to reflect those attitudes towards people that you disagree with, but really to try and reflect love and compassion, understanding, awareness, thoughtfulness. And in that way, do our own little bit to contribute to the peace in the world, to contribute to the sanity and healthiness of ourselves and the people around us. So the basic mindfulness meditation that we do when we're sitting here at EBS or when I'm practicing alone by myself at home has 4 parts. And typically I would do this for an hour at home. When people do it here for their half-hour sessions of this kind of meditation every day here at EBS. But you can also do it for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever time you have, before you go to work in the morning or before you go to bed at night. This classic meditation has 4 parts, and it's actually 3 parts, and then I add a 4th part at the end. In Sanskrit, it is called shamatha, which is usually translated to mean mindfulness, but it actually literally means calm abiding. And I like that, thinking of it that way, that it's you're basically, the whole thing is to stay calmly present and aware. So the 4 parts, or the 3 parts, are first to settle, then to open, then to observe, and then to soften. You could think of SOOS. And settling is really important. It means creating a space, first of all, that you can settle into, undistracted, undisturbed piece of time, putting your phone away, putting the cat out of the room if she's going to climb on you, anyway, having some spacious privacy. And then in that space, settling your body into a comfortable but upright position, a posture that carries the intention of the meditation. That is, posture that is securely seated and connected to the earth, like a tree. You can think of a tree with deep roots, but a posture, a body that is awake and aware, not sleeping, not resting, but upright and aware. The Zen people call this a ready posture. And once you're settled, you want to check that there's no tension in your body, that your body is comfortable and relaxed. And the second step is opening, which we do using our breath. First of all, you just notice the breath entering and leaving your body. that your body is breathing, always breathing, and that this breath naturally is effortless. Your body's going to breathe whether you tell it to or not. So you just notice the breath happening, and if you're feeling particularly agitated or distracted, you can deliberately use your breath to slow yourself down a little bit. When the body settles comfortably, the breath will naturally settle a little bit too. So you can just notice that happening. And be aware that with each breath you're exchanging with the space around you. Yet let your breath remind you of the space around you. I like to think about, we occupy our minds, and usually we think of we're like in a box or something, maybe a house or something, but we're closed inside of our head, where there we are living up here in this sealed up bubble of an environment. But actually we're constantly in relation to the space around us, to the air, the light, the temperature, and so the sounds, and so let your breathing, as you breathe in and out, let your breathing remind you of this connection with space, and let your awareness expand to include the space around you and not just be stuck inside your head. So that's the opening stage. So you're settled and open. And then you observe at this point. You just notice what's the activity of your mind is. And again, if you think of yourself as a tree a little bit, settled in the earth, secure, powerful, strong tree, the observing means noticing the life that's inside of you. It might be like birds landing in your branches, or squirrels and chipmunks, or other creatures, just the activity of life, which is your mind. Your mind is always full of activity as long as you're alive. And it's not a bad thing, the activity, but if you become aware of it, you learn something about yourself. You learn something about being in the world. And so you listen or watch or observe, take in, connect to the activity of your mind. You don't try to do anything. It's not good or bad. Another image I like to use for this observing is the idea of your, sitting on a park bench watching a playground of children. You don't know the children. They're not your children. You're not responsible for them. But you can watch them. You can see what they're doing. You can see their energy and their emotions and hopefully their joy, their, what they're doing, their playfulness. You can watch all of that without intervening. And, take that posture with regard to your own mental activity. And you do this sitting, settling, opening, and observing for however long you have. And if you get lost and forget what you're doing, you get carried away by some train of thought, you just come back to your body and your breathing. You just bring yourself back to the present moment. And remember, it's all very peaceful, and there is tenderness about it. You're not subjugating yourself. You're enjoying yourself, if you will. Making friends with yourself, sometimes it's called. So then at the end of your time, let's say you had 20 minutes, and when the 20 minutes are up, before you get up and leave, go about your business, you do the fourth step, which I call softening, and that is just to engage your heart. And remember that the world is full of people just like you, who have the same challenges that you have, the same desire for peace and happiness and companionship, and that, who want the world to be a good place just like you do. and you send out to all those people, just sort of imagine that you're radiating some peacefulness to them, to everyone. That you're wordlessly speaking whatever language everybody speaks, and it's a language of love and compassion. So, and then you just get up and go about your business. And, like I said, if you're during the day, if something strikes you as hard or a challenge or shocking or whatever, you can just do this in a minute. You can sit yourself down, plant yourself, let your body relax and open. Breathe, notice your breathing, opening your attention and your awareness, and then observing what you're doing and what's happening, and then feeling this softness and compassion for yourself and for everyone else in the same position. So that's it for today. I want to end with this classic Buddhist prayer that reinforces the notion that we already have all of these wonderful capacities inside of us. And it says, "May all sentient beings enjoy happiness and the root of happiness, which is love. May we be free from suffering and the root of suffering. May we not be separated from the great happiness devoid of suffering, and may we dwell in the great equanimity, free from passion, aggression, and prejudice." So I hope this is helpful. I wish you all the best in whatever challenges you're facing. At least you can feel confidence in your own capacity for love and wisdom. Bye. Thank you.